How's it going, guys? We have a medium difficulty question for Gastro for step 1. I'd say 2 nearly identical questions show up across the nbme exams, okay, for this specific example, what I'm referring to here. So before we get started, please subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. Give the video a like, really appreciate it. Find me on Instagram at mehlman_medical, mehlman_medical, links down below. Find me on Telegram. Links to the Telegram group and channel are down below, and let's start the clip. So two 24-year-old men receive 50 grams of IV glucose. However, only one of the men receives 10 grams of oral fatty acids simultaneously. And it's observed that in the guy who also received oral fatty acids, his glucose utilization was quicker than the guy who merely received the IV glucose without any oral fatty acids. And and you say, well, that's really weird. What's that about? All right, well, this is on the nbme exam, as I just fucking said, so let's just whip through it. Choice A, cholecystokinin, wrong fucking answer. Okay, so there's 3 roles of cholecystokinin that you just need to simply memorize. The most important is going to be causes the pancreas to the exocrine pancreas to secrete proteases and lipases. Okay, the second, relaxation sphincter voti. The third, contraction of the gallbladder. If they give you a woman 40s female, fertile, fat, okay, the classic demographic for gallstones, cholesterol gallstones, and they say biliary colic in the question, okay, she gets pain after meals, especially fatty meals. They ask you which hormone, you're going to say cholecystokinin, all right, and you need to know that the stimulation for this, the impetus for secretion, is going to be macronutrients entering the duodenum from the pylorus, okay, so that means carbs, fats, proteins. Now, where you can get into trouble is starting to say, well, technically acid can do it too. Wrong fucking answer, okay? I'm not going to go off on a diatribe right now about certain resources that are superfluous that mention details like that, but they'll get you questions wrong on USMLE. Wrong fucking answer. Choice B, gastrin, wrong answer. So this is going to cause gastric acid secretion, okay? It's by G cells. Actually, real quick, cholecystokinin is secreted by enteroendocrine cells of the small bowel. Quote, that's an answer on one of the step 1 forms, okay? Cholecystokinin, enteroendocrine cells of the small bowel are what secrete cholecystokinin. Gastrin is G cells, okay, in the pancreas, also in the stomach. But a lot we can talk about, but gastrinoma, Zollinger-Ellison syndrome, very high yield, all right? So that's going to be a gastrin secreting tumor, gastrinoma. You need to know that secretin stimulation test normally will cause acid to go down, okay, as well as gastrin to go down. But if we give secretin in the setting of Zollinger-Ellison syndrome, we see that gastrin stays high, okay? Some students erroneously think, oh, well, gastrin actually goes up in response to secretin. No, it's not the case. Just it stays high. It's autonomous, right? Whereas we expect gastrin to ordinarily go down. Wrong fucking answer. Choice B, glucose-dependent insulin-tropic peptides, correct answer, aka GIP. Now, this is what you need to know. And there's 2 ways that they're going to ask this question in USMLE. This is a hormone that when oral macronutrients are consumed, carbs, proteins, fat, this is a hormone that causes the secretion of insulin, okay, which allows for faster glucose utilization. So if you took So this is the first way they ask it, the way I did it in this question here, is if you have 2 patients who receive IV glucose and 1 patient simultaneously receives oral protein or oral fatty acids or even a little bit of oral glucose as well. The patient who receives some oral nutrients is going to get a greater spike in insulin and hence actually have faster utilization of that IV glucose. Okay, that's the first way they ask it. The second is they just say, 1 patient receives 50 grams of oral glucose. The second patient receives 50 grams of IV glucose. That's it. And the patient who receives the oral glucose actually has utilization quicker. And the answer is because, well, if you take it orally, you're going to get a spike in GIP, and that causes a spike in insulin secretion. Okay, so it's a factoid you need to be aware of USMLE. It shows up a couple times on the nbme exams. I think it's fair to know what your GI hormones do. Okay, you'll often see this as a distractor as well. So just be aware of what GIP does. Okay, Motilin, I'll just quickly whip through the other ones, tell you important points. Motilin, wrong fucking answer. This is just a hormone that perpetuates peristalsis, maintains peristalsis in the absence of any food consumption. Okay, borborygmi, fancy term that refers to your stomach grumbling when you're hungry. Okay, it's due to Motilin. You could be aware that erythromycin, which even though it's a macrolide 50S ribosomal inhibitor antibiotic, erythromycin, for whatever fucking reason, can also stimulate Motilin receptors. Okay, so for patients who have diabetic gastroparesis, they can receive metoclopramide D2 antagonist as a prokinetic, also affects on serotonin. But if you don't give metoclopramide, you can give erythromycin, which stimulates Motilin receptors in those patients. Wrong fucking answer. Secretin, wrong answer. So Secretin, what you need to know is that this causes the pancreas to secrete alkaline bicarb. So we said before that CCK causes the exocrine pancreas to secrete proteases and lipases. Well, secretin causes the exocrine pancreas to secrete alkaline bicarb, okay? So if they give this to you as a graph question and they say, like, you know, this is a line graph and a patient in a research study received unknown hormone, and you can see that the pH of the pH of the pancreatic secretions increases, then you say, well, that's because it was secretin that was given and pancreas is now secreting alkaline bicarb, right? It's not complicated, which stems into VIP, which you need to know that there's actually two things you need to know. One, vipoma, and two, that this is going to cause the pancreas to secrete water. So there's a graph similarly, as I just fucking said, where they'll tell you X hormone was given, and they'll tell you the pH remains pretty much the same, the enzyme concentration remains pretty much the same. It's just the water content has increased. That's what they say in one of the questions. And it was VIP, okay? And then I said vipoma, which you should be aware, vipoma is actually super fucking high yield on surgery forms for 2CK. No fucking idea why, okay? Seems very nitpicky, but they like vipoma. There's two ways vipoma presents. I'd say 4 out of 5 questions on it. You're going to get WDHA syndrome. That's what it's called. Watery diarrhea, hypokalemia, achlorhydria. Okay, low chloride as well. You don't have to worry about that. It's just you're going to get a patient who has watery diarrhea and hypokalemia. The second way is you can get a lacy facial flushing. Okay, that's actually a bit harder because you might know vipoma and WDHA syndrome, but then they tell you facial flushing. That's vipoma. Okay, don't confuse that with gastrinoma, which can cause a vibrant rash on the body called necrolytic migratory erythema. And of course, we can go on a long tangent about all the hormones and stuff. I mean, I'm going to keep this clip consolidated. It's already been extended. You know the deal. I'm going to make more content. If you like my stuff, subscribe to my channel. I appreciate your time. That's it.